All right, everyone. Welcome to Margin Theory, where we bring you stories from CEOs and business owners about how they make sense of business and life and everything in between. Today, I have a special guest, and I'm super pumped to have this conversation. Kris Klein is CEO and co-founder of PollenSense, a deep tech life sciences company whose AI-powered optical sensors identify pollen, mold, and dust in real time across 25 plus countries, guys. Kris, welcome to the show. Really glad to have you here.
Thanks, Jake. It's fun to get to speak with you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Always a pleasure. So let's start from the beginning. Tell me a little bit about your story, Kris. How did you get into what you're doing, and what does Pollen Sense actually do?
Well, how I got into it is quite interesting. I don't have your typical path and trajectory to be a CEO of a global tech company.
Hmm.
I came in 3 years ago as a consultant to
Hmm.
explore the indoor and industrial markets for the company
Yep.
that I was introduced to about five years ago. But
Hmm.
3 years ago, whenever I came in, I really saw that the data for all of us was really broken around the world,
Hmm.
and I decided, there was a huge opportunity, and I
Hmm.
decided that year to stay and help build Pollen Sense. I worked for free that whole year
Hmm.
because I was really excited about the opportunity and where it could go. And
Hmm.
then in the past couple of years, I've gone from leading sales to being asked by the board to now lead the company as CEO
Hmm.
and as a co-founder.
Hmm.
So it's been a really interesting journey. I've got, over 2 decades, 28
Wow.
years or so of new business development and new markets. So new product, new markets,
Yep.
strategy and partnerships
Hmm.
with a lot of different industries. But now being able to kind of take all the good from those industries, it all supports where we are today. So
Hmm.
it's definitely been an interesting journey. And
That's awesome.
PollenSense, what we really do with PollenSense technology is we deliver this layer of environmental intelligence, which is
Hmm.
the air that we breathe in
Hmm.
real time. For the first time, you're able to know what is floating around in your invisible space that
Hmm.
could be potentially affecting your health. And
Wow.
that's for outdoor, indoor, and in industrial settings. So we pull, we collect the particles from the air with a
Yep.
fan through the sensor, and we trap those particles, and then we use basically facial recognition technology to detect the particles and identify what they are.
Wow. Wow. I have a lot of questions for that now because that sounds really interesting. Is so you started as the sales development rep at Pollen Sense?
Yeah, I was called in to actually do a presentation for a mold remediation group, a national
Okay.
conference,
Yep.
and was asked, "Hey, could you learn, our technology, and would you feel comfortable presenting in a couple of weeks to this group and to this big national group that was going to be in Nashville?"
Hmm.
And I said, "Sure, yeah, I can learn to speak on anything. I have a sales development background, so you give me the
Hmm.
product, you have to go talk about it."
Hmm.
So as I learned the tech kind of high level really quickly and learned some of the behavior of mold spores and then their industry, what would matter to them, and we put this presentation together, and I flew to Nashville and went and started talking about it.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
that's really how it got that's how it started. And I saw this huge opportunity. I was like, wow, I looked at the CEO and the original founder and I said, just let me.
Hmm.
Right? I said, just let me. Give me this other market that is not your primary focus. Just
Yep.
just let me. I'm super excited about it. I said, I'll work for free. I was like, just
Oh, wow.
I'll pay for my memberships, for my conferences, everything. And
Wow.
he, I think, doubtfully said yes. It was like, well, maybe. And then it just took off.
Wow, wow. So you're just out there. You're probably a really good salesperson then and just absolutely kill it. Especially being like so like I can even tell like the energy that you have right now. Like you're very committed to what you're doing and you probably believe in the mission behind Pollen Sense. What's like the mission behind Pollen Sense?
To be able to deliver this real-time environmental intelligence to people who care about their health.
Hmm.
There are nearly 100 million allergy and asthma sufferers in the US.
Hmm.
And there are 7 million people in North America that die a year. I think it's in North America that die a year from causes that relate to air pollution.
What? Really?
Yeah. Um,
Wow.
so just alone from your allergy sufferers to asthma to the people who are dying from chronic illness and stuff that is caused from poor air quality.
Yep.
And we don't think naturally that pollen or mold spores are actually air pollution, but they are. So the
Uh-huh.
mission is really it's to serve humanity, on a great
Yeah, of course.
level, and
Yep.
to bring this technology that hasn't been available. What's been available on the market is yesterday's single count and kind of an aggregate of that, saying, well, based on this single count of data, we guess that tomorrow might look like this, but that doesn't
Uh-huh.
really help you right now in the moment.
Yep. Yep. One thing that just comes to mind is there like any unique like stats or unique insights about like the air that we breathe, especially like maybe around our homes or something that we gotta like know of and we should think of, or like, or is it just kind of like you're looking for air outs and like yeah, do you have any insights on like that, like even just if you're going to sleep in your apartment or in your house or anything like that?
Yeah, so the EPA estimates that the indoor air that we breathe is 2 to 5 times worse than our outdoor air.
Okay.
And the air that is outside, so when we have wildfires or when we
Yep.
live in areas that have high microplastic potential, and
Hmm.
high other contaminants in the air,
Hmm.
industrial pollutants,
Hmm.
um, then that is actually getting inside of our living spaces
Hmm.
by a lot of different ways. Our living space is not fully contained and sealed. We're not vacuum sealed.
Hmm.
So yeah, our indoor air is actually 2 to 5 times worse.
Hmm.
And we can change it out with a HEPA filter and try to filter through whatever we can. But the problem has been that we just don't know what we don't see. And we breathe
Hmm.
20,000 times a day.
Hmm.
So you're
Wow.
constantly breathing in potential threats. For some people, it could be pet dander. And I don't have cats, but I have cat dander that shows up in my house because my dogs are tracking it in when they're going in and out of the house.
Wow.
So to think about some of these things that we pull in from the outside could be causing an allergic reaction too.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. Cool,
And we
cool.
don't, and a lot of people, unless you suffer from, if we look at outdoor allergies and asthma, unless you suffer from, severely suffer from, say, a pollen or a mold allergy,
Yep.
then you might not be aware that whenever you do go to sleep at night, what's been, if you went on a run outside,
Hmm.
whatever has hitched a ride home with you via your hair, your clothing, whatnot, will also make its way to your bed. So
Hmm.
then it's on your pillow and you're breathing that in. So if you are highly allergenic, then you could be making your symptoms worse and then just over medicating because you're just not aware of all the factors that come into play.
Wow, wow. Do you guys like how can like I or some people use your technology for themselves? Like how does that end up working? Are you guys just direct to consumer? Do you guys sell to bigger companies? Like how does that work?
So we currently work with public health agencies and news broadcasting media outlets, so
Uh-huh.
TV stations, some healthcare practitioners in the respiratory field, allergy, immunology, otolaryngology physicians. Um, and we work with a lot of researchers in academia. So we're more
Okay.
B2B, B to government, B2G, and
Yep.
we license our forecast to big data whales. So your
Yep.
Microsoft Bing, NOAA, we work with large enterprise businesses like that. When it comes to consumer level, PollenWise is our allergy app.
Uh-huh.
So if you are an allergy or asthma sufferer, we have the only real time automated pollen mold and dust sensor network. So we
Uh-huh.
pull from that network to then model with kind of the weather and everything. So we
Okay.
have the best data on PollenWise than you can get anywhere else
Uh-huh.
because it's real ground truth. But
Yeah.
we have a few severe sufferers who have actually bought sensors or license, annually a sensor package to help their family or to help themselves. It's a little expensive right now, but we are working towards getting that more to a more kind of citizen scientist level.
Got it. Okay. Cool, cool, cool.
We're getting
Wow. Okay. So you've been now CEO of this company for around a year now, or
Yeah, almost. I guess we're
congrats
at
on
the
that, by
eight
the way.
eight to 10 month mark.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. Yeah, it was wild. It wasn't what I had seen where I saw my life going, but I'm passionate about it. I love lobbying for the cause, and helping people. And you see these instant rewards, and that it could, where we're headed, could be really like world changing technology. So it's kind of fun.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, I know I know in our previous talk that we got together, I didn't want to just talk about business today. The real story is, within you. I mean, you're running this company, you're the CEO now, and like you got a whole board to talk to and that appointed you. And so I'm really interested in how you how you got yourself up to being at this level in this level playing field. And so let me ask you this. So as you were working with this company, what actually grounds you? Like when things get hard, and you're out selling and and doing what you need to do to get to becoming CEO. And even like right now while you're running this company, like and the answers aren't just obvious, what keeps you going?
So a couple of things. Mindfulness is one.
Hmm.
Being able to, and in the past, I've gone to a few retreats where I've learned different forms of meditation.
Hmm.
So being able to quickly, when you start to feel that deep anxiety, I see it like a snake wrapping around my chest. When
Hmm.
you start to have the boa constrictor, wrap around and you can't breathe. Um, Conditioning that way in the past for several years really helps because now I can most of the time stop and breathe and kind of calm my nervous system. That's
Hmm.
huge. And then I also, whenever I get a chance, I like to find little moments of awe.
Hmm.
So if I'm walking around and a path outside, if I can stop and notice the wildflowers popping up in the spring, or a dog barking, or a kid laughing on a swing, or something, and actually being present enough to
Hmm.
notice those moments, then
Hmm.
I feel like that brings a lot of grounding,
Hmm.
in a simple way. And of
Hmm.
course, I love to travel. So whenever I do actually get the chance to take a day off, if I can go somewhere new, then and if I
Of
can have
course.
at least a day alone, then
Yep.
then I find that I get out of my comfort zone and I trust the world, I trust strangers, and I trust
Yep.
myself more in those moments.
Yep. Yep. It's like we're like deep down inside real explorers. Like we always want to see new stimulus and see the new surrounding. Like I think that's what drives a lot of us innately and stuff. So yeah. Where did you end up going, Kris? Was it like where did you just get back from?
A friend, luckily, a friend had a birthday and I couldn't, it was non-refundable. So I couldn't use the work excuse. And I didn't want to, but I had work piling on me and we went to Turks and Caicos.
Oh
And
wow.
really
Jealous.
blessed now that she, a longtime childhood friend, pushed and said, you've got to come, and I made it happen, and it was magical. I got to watch the sunset. I listened to the waves crash on the beach, and I had time away from my phone and from email and from the demands to where I could actually engage with people in real, just casual conversations and connect socially. And I didn't realize, I thought with all of my work social engagement that was fulfilling without actually thinking about it. The time away and just having conversations with other people and getting to know new people in that space was really I don't know. It made me feel alive again in just a couple of days. It was really
Mm-hmm.
fulfilling.
Hmm. Other than what grounds you in the meditation and like the awe moments, by the way, which I love. The awe moments is great. I never thought about it like that. I'd always think about it like as I'm walking around, just like, stop and look around, but like there's so many things that could be, like that it's crazy the world that we live in, really, if you take a step back. And but other than just that, like, do you like do any type of activities? Do you work out, like watch what you eat, any routines that keep you sharp?
Yeah, I'm trying as I drink my ginger and turmeric tea here. Um, I am trying to manage that because um, I think the days pile up really quickly and you don't realize that there's chronic stress and worry because now not only did I, lead sales, I stepped into lead sales a couple of years ago as CEO. I mean, I really am the provider for the entire team. And
Hmm.
it's a lot of pressure. And
Hmm.
it can get really scary, and you try to fight through imposter syndrome and all of that. So I started to ignore the chronic stress that was
Hmm.
popping up. And yes, I went to an integrative medicine doctor, a functional medicine doctor that seemed to fit for me.
Hmm.
And he's also an MD. And I did a lot of blood work and a lot of lab work. And I've been putting myself better on a really specialized diet
Hmm.
for anti-inflammation, to reduce the inflammation from the stress,
Hmm.
and then also to eliminate some toxins.
Hmm.
And so it's a pretty detailed diet and supplement plan and all of that. And I do go for walks, and then I have one of those little walking pads that sometimes I'll try to jump on that and at least move.
Walking pad, like, is it just a walking pad while you're working too?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I gotta get one of those.
To just move, like move the body, move the tissues, and then I think that moves more of um the worry out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than just sitting in the office all day and, just like sitting there and like sometimes you just forget to walk, like,
Yes. You could sit for like 16, 14, 16 hours just
yeah.
working on stuff
Yep.
and then say, "Oh, yeah, I haven't drank much water today. I
Hmm.
haven't moved my body. I haven't left my house in 3 days. I haven't."
Hmm.
Like there's so much, and then all of a sudden you look back and it's been a lot longer of a time period.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. So, okay, so then you're on the diet right now. How's the diet going? Like, have you been consistent with it, or yeah,
No.
what?
No. Traveling is really hard. Um,
Traveling.
Even traveling for conferences, stuff like that, like you end up trying to make decent choices, and then sometimes you just say screw it, and it's
Hmm.
it's not, and then you just have to start over and pick up
Hmm.
the pieces again.
I know
Yeah,
I'm trying all these new diets too, and it's always hard because I always want the same thing. I'm on a high protein diet, but it's like, I try to keep it consistent with one thing, but I don't know if it's hard to stay consistent with a diet in
it
general.
is. It
Hmm.
is. And I've been working with, different LLMs, right? Like everyone has, and, talking to AI to say, okay, here's the outcome that I want. Can you help me with a meal plan? Can you also help me with a travel meal plan?
Hmm.
What would I eat in the airport or on the plane if it's a longer flight? Like, what are some better choices that I could bring along? And it's hard to do, but I'm gonna keep trying.
How do you protect that? Like when you're working, when you said you're working like 12 to 14-hour days, which by the way, I'm working for the same thing, and that's what it takes at
Yeah,
this level. Like you have to be, working hard, but also working smart. And you got to protect the time to kind of like be able to, go back in that, I think it's called the parasympathetic state or something like that. Just kind of like, the non-stress state that you were bringing up. Do you have any strategies that you use to, kind of protect that time?
I like frequency. And if I can, usually in the morning, so my time, protecting my time and listening to different frequencies. Um, and it's usually really early in the morning because my brain wants to wake up at 4 a.m. To answer email. So if I look at it, then I'll try to remember to stop myself and give myself like a couple of hours.
Uh-huh.
to just kind of have either a slow morning or move my body and kind of get some of the tissue flowing, and just calm. I try not to have too many lights on yet. I try not um, to jump into things. I say try, and I stress that because I'm not
Yeah,
always
of course.
great at it.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a little fire, then I feel like I need to put it out right away. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but actually, after being gone this last weekend, I want to be more mindful again and block that off. I think I lost
Mm-hmm.
that over the last 8 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you're transitioning into this big role and stuff, so it's you got to make sure you're figuring it out as you go.
Yeah, and I want to be able to block time for family and friends,
Mm-hmm.
and have it be more quality time.
Mm-hmm.
So that way, maybe one weekend here and there, one day, I'll be able to get together with somebody and just carve that time out. But right now it's been hard to keep telling friends, no, I can't come, no, I can't come, no, I can't come. And to keep turning down, invitations and like, please keep inviting me. I just can't attend yet.
So about the people side of, outside the business, who matters most to you, when you close the laptop at the end of the day, when you do have time for people, who do you usually hang out with?
So I have a few close longtime friends in the Dallas area where I
Hmm.
live most of the time.
Hmm.
And luckily one of them lives just a few miles away. So I've got people really close by. So we can meet up and go walk around the lake or go, do something fun, go to a game. In Dallas, you've got a lot of different activities to do. So that's really nice. My dad lives an hour away, and then my
Oh, that's nice.
husband, even though my husband works in another part of the state of Texas, I am married, so we get to communicate. He's usually the first person and the last person in the day is usually my
Hmm.
husband.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
that's awesome. You got your dad to ground you and your husband. It's always good to have other people that support you and support the mission that you're doing and stuff. So,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. So, by the way, just appreciate you sharing all that, Kris. Let's zoom back into PollenSense. What does it actually look like today? If we were to zoom back to the present right now, what you're focusing on, where are you taking it from here?
So we're working on some, hopefully, a really big licensing partnership with a global weather provider.
Hmm.
So we're talking to a few big companies and hopefully to move that ball forward. We
Hmm.
are also working with in the early stages of working with Procter and Gamble to
Hmm.
protect worker safety and to work on risk mitigation
Hmm.
with our technology in manufacturing.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
we've got a couple of avenues, so we do outdoor and indoor monitoring, but I really want to continue. Our outdoor space will continue to grow, and
Okay.
we'll license that to work with a big channel partner. But then we also want to look at being able to bring this technology for the workers, um,
Yep.
and getting into that original space that I had, consulted on for indoor and industrial. It looks like we're going to be able to do some extra development on our technology that will be able to unlock those verticals and those doors.
Got it. I got it. Okay. So if we were to like also, I know we went back to the present, but like, if you were to like do it all differently from day one, and I love to bring this up, but if you were to go back to your sales development role and until the role that you are right now, if you were to do, anything differently starting over, what would you do?
Um, I would probably slow down on the amount of, I guess, attempting and trying some different avenues. So for
Hmm.
me coming in, I thought, okay, well, if I'm not going to go after this other market that was, the outdoor air that's already been in play, and I'm going to
Hmm.
do something new, then I needed to try different pilots. So
Hmm.
one thing that I would do is maybe try a couple of less pilots.
Hmm.
um, and focus more on just narrowing that down,
Hmm.
and not being as scattered with it. But I thought, okay, and my background, I thought, well, let's try this one, but it ended up pulling on the team a little too much.
Hmm.
And I'm grateful for where we are now and the amazing team that we have. But looking back, I would definitely pull less on them by throwing different things and throwing less at them.
Like too many experiments, too many projects at once, you're saying, kind of?
Yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, it's not a big deal. And really, in hindsight, it was a big deal.
Hmm.
Being able to look at the mining industry, agriculture, when you're looking at all these different ones, for me as a strategist, it was okay, we got to try these out quickly so then I know where I need to go.
Where you need to go. Yeah, because
Yes,
you're being a mad scientist in general. You're trying
yes.
to you got to get the data to be able to make the right decision.
It
Yeah.
it was a double-edged sword with it, because I put a lot of pressure on the team doing
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
And they're grateful now that I'm like, okay, let's approach it a different way. But we were also learning to how we all worked together.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
now we've got this really great groove where everyone is an operator, everyone takes ownership for what they do. So we just have this small team of leaders, just showing
Okay.
up and getting stuff done. And it's really an incredible seeing that process and where that came from out of some of the messiness to start with, is really rewarding.
I love that you brought that up because managing your team is huge and being the leader for your team. And now I have a question that I'm going to bring in all my interviews. Actually, this is great because now I can add this and stuff. So what's like the biggest lesson you've learned when it comes to leadership and leading your teams and kind of like what's your philosophy on leading your team?
I've had two great leaders, I feel, in my life. One when I was in my early 20s, about 21, 22 years old, and another one just 5 years ago. And both of them led from like the bottom up, like an inverted pyramid. And they in the first one, when I was really young, would say, I'm down here. He would do his hands in an inverted pyramid. He'd say, I'm down here at the bottom supporting you guys, because we looked at him as the top
Yeah.
down. And he's like,
Yeah.
it's not top down. I'm not the boss. I'm here to support you. He's like, you guys are
Yep.
the boss. And
Yep.
that, and then giving the team, hiring the right people, and then getting out of their way, giving them the right tools, supporting them with information and education if that's necessary, but then getting out of the way and
Getting.
letting them be successful, because we're all adults, we all want to be successful. So
Yep.
now I see the team as, whenever I do conferences, if I can bring one person from the team to each conference, then they get out of the office, they get to also experience sales life.
Yep. Of
So
course.
that's nice. And then they understand what I'm going through. They understand the more of the customer's perspective because they're spending time with them. They're seeing the different reasons why we're doing what we're doing. And then we've got a teammate right now. He's our lead on our air biology team. He's fantastic, and he's at the American Geophysical Union, the lobbying events with Congress right
Oh,
now.
wow.
Day yesterday in Washington D.C., and he's going to be there for a couple of weeks. And he took it on his own to say, "Hey, I want to go and do this," because he's been engaged with that group since I got engaged with it.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and it really has sparked this like curiosity and interest in him. So now he's in DC lobbying, talking to Congress for policy change and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
it's great. And I love that, to be able to have that spark and lead in that way, that someone is so fulfilled with their job, then we all work harder. And that's not the intention, it's actually to care about the
Hmm.
team.
Hmm.
I care about their life. Whenever we get together as a team, it's
Hmm.
always bring your plus one. So we get to
Hmm.
know each other's spouses or partners or best friend.
Hmm.
Um, and we have a blast and we do fun things together. We have an able-bodied team that can go and run around on the lake or go curling, and it's we do things that get people out of their comfort zones,
Hmm.
and build build that team atmosphere together. And that's it's
Hmm.
really fun. I
Wow.
think we really do love each other as a little family, and I don't want to lose that as we continue to grow.
You said you had a mentor, that this mentor taught you this?
Yeah, they both. So one in a senior living consulting company.
Yep.
Um, his name is Paul Markowitz. He
Uh-huh.
he was amazing. Like he led in this unique way. He has the best people on his team. I was one of
Yep.
them. And he would every now and then he'd say, you know what, you're working really hard. Go out to eat, or go with your, boyfriend or whoever and go out to eat. Or he would get concert tickets because he knows somebody wanted to see a show.
Wow.
And he'd be like, hey, I got you tickets to this show. Take off the rest of the day, have a blast.
Wow.
Or
Genuinely
go
cared.
get
Yeah.
a manicure or go to this retreat. And it was always like you felt so appreciated and seen by the way that he led that you wanted to show up more for him, for that person, and
It hurt more to let him down than not.
yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
man, like this is like he really cares about me. I care about what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and he wants me to be able to help more people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. That strikes me and reminds me of someone in my life, but I want to get into it. But no, totally resonate with that. That's great. That's great. All
Yeah.
right, Kris, I got
Part.
two more questions left for you. This was great. I love that. I love that part. But all right, so looking ahead, I know we might have probably went in a little bit of these, but I'm just gonna say these ones. So looking ahead, next what are the big goals for the next 12 months, both in business and in life?
In business, the biggest goals in the next 12 months is going to be to secure, to actually release our global modeling for allergy forecast. So
Mhm.
we have someone new joining our team there, and then that will secure strategic licensing customers, partners, and then
Mhm.
also to develop some of our data compliance to reach that more industrial market. So development there professionally,
Yep.
and we'll grow our team a little bit more with some high level great people. And then personally, it is uh, to have more of those days where on my own I get those moments of awe that
Mhm.
inspire me and fulfill me and bring drive my trust in the world and in
Mhm.
myself to keep growing the company and growing my spirit together.
Hmm. Got it. Those are two great goals. And then, last question. What's been one of the biggest challenges you have been in navigating the business lately in terms of getting to those goals?
um Juggling, being in the role as CEO, um overseeing some of the financial responsibilities now from
Mhm.
that, and kind of hiring processes,
Hmm.
um but then also the responsibility that comes from raising capital, but then
Hmm.
also juggling sales. So
Hmm.
it's like having two full-time sales jobs in different capacities because you have different language for each, and then
Hmm.
also doing high level pressure administrative things.
Hmm.
So all three of those things together are challenging. So I look,
You're juggling a lot.
it is a lot. So I really am glad that I have the freedom around me and two little dogs that bring me joy, and the freedom around me personally to be able to breathe whenever I need to breathe, to show up when I need to show up, and to ask for help.
Got it. Okay. Cool, cool. All right. All right. So then before we wrap up, where can people find you and what you're working on that you want people to know about? And what are you working on that you want people to know about?
So people can find me, on LinkedIn, or that's usually an easy one to track me down. And to follow PollenSense, you get a lot of updates and you see all the cool things that our technology is supporting. We've got a big research projects globally that are going to have research impacts on human health outcomes tied
Hmm.
to, our air quality
Hmm.
and the particles that we breathe with pollen and mold.
Mhm.
And that's happening globally. We have very big research projects happening. And then
Mhm.
NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, is
Mhm.
about to publish on our data. So I've got a call with them tomorrow.
Mhm.
So if you follow PollenSense on LinkedIn, then you'll get a lot of these updates, and then we can engage to possibly even be able to work together.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, Kris, this has been a great conversation. I loved hearing all about that, all about the lessons and how you're building this thing. And so just want to say
Thanks.
appreciate appreciate you being so open with me today and my audience and the way you think about what you're building is exactly the kind of story that other business owners and business and just people who in business want to hear. And so to everyone tuning in, thank you for being here. If this resonated with you, share it with a business owner in your life who needs to hear it or just anyone in your life who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep pushing forward in faith, family, fitness, and business. Kris, really appreciate you. This was a great one.
Thanks, Jake. Take care.